Hello, welcome to Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com. And I'm continuing on with some Valentine cards that I made. Karen Titus, another demonstrator for Stampin' Up, had shared a really quick and fast little, I call it kind of a patchwork card sketch that can be used with just a base or with a cardstock layer underneath the or on top of the base for this. And it really has some cute ways of using up some of the 6x6 designer series papers, or even the 12x12s that you cut down to the 6x6. And of course, I just needed to use those adorable little amazing otters again. They are just so cute. These stamps are available in the celebration for January and February. So the end of February, these will be going away. You can earn this. You can't buy it. You can earn it with a minimum $50 purchase of regular merchandise in the Stampin' Up! Catalogs. Also, I used the Happy Valentine's Day stamp out of the Sweet Conversations bundle. And then it also can, the dies that go with this bundle can cut out some hearts that can be used for them holding those little things. And so this is one of the bundles. It's in the January to June mini catalog for 2022. And then I also brought out the Stitch So Sweetly dies for this label here, because the otter just fits so well on there. And then I had got some of the red ribbon that was out of that mini catalog, and then some pool party ribbon that I have. So let me kind of bring out and share with you what you'll need. Just remember that you can go over to my website at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com to get the dimensions for the products that you'll need, as well as an ability to shop through my website to get those things that you will need to do this project. If you are new to my YouTube channel, I hope that you will click the subscribe button and also the bell notification, so that when I upload another video, you'll be able to view that or get a notification about it. And I hope that you like all of the projects that I share with you. So let's get started here. So this is the cardstock one that doesn't have another cardstock layer, so it's just a cardstock base, and you just get select a color that coordinates with the designer series paper that you're using, that you've chosen to use. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 in landscape, so that it's in half. This piece goes on the inside, and it is a 5 1/4 by 4. And again, it can be white or vanilla depending on what your designer series paper is that you're using. It's about, because I'm just making a little knot, it's about 5.5 inches of ribbon or so. And then that label, and again, it can be either white or vanilla depending on what your paper is. And then you'll stamp your otter on here, and then you can color those in. I find the best things to color with are the blends, because they tend to go well together and without leaving streaks or having it too dark or whatever. And so that's this one. And then this one is the one with the cardstock layer. It's the same size base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 on the landscape side. And then you just fold that in half and burnish the edge with the bone folder. You'll have a 5 1/4 by 4 for the white or vanilla inside, and then again a 5 1/4 by 4 out there, the same size, 5 1/4 by 4 of a coordinating cardstock layer to put on the front. Again, about 5.5 inches for the ribbon to make a knot, and then the label. The magic kind of happens all with the cutting of the designer series paper. So you do need a 6x6 for each one of the cards, and it's just in the way that you are going to cut those. So I created some templates. So the one with no cardstock layer, you're going to line this up in your trimmer, and let me get that over here. I hope that you'll be able to see. And I'll be using the cutting blade. Now the first cut you're going to make is actually going to be for decorating the back of the envelope, the flap, right here. So if it's a directional pattern, you want to make sure that it's going the direction that you want it to go, and that will be your first cut. So this one without a layer, it's just going to go on the card base. You are going to line the left side up with 3 3/4. And I really appreciate Karen Titus for sharing this idea. It's really fast. It's really can be used for any papers, any designs. You can make it your own. So 3 3/4. This will be for the flap, so set it aside. Then you're going to turn it to landscape, and you're going to line this left side up with 5. So basically you're cutting off 1 inch on this side. This can go on the inside of your card for just a little piece of decoration there. So just set it off to the side. Now you have this piece. This is going to create that patchwork on the front. And the card can go either portrait, like these I did portrait, but I could have turned them if the paper was like this one. I probably could have even turned it sideways and put the label on sideways. So it's multi-directional. You're not stuck into just a portrait card. So this is the patchwork part. So now you're going to line up this left edge with 2 3/4. Basically, again, it's cutting off 1 inch of this. Just move this down to the end because you're going to cut it again. Turn this landscape, and this is going to line up at 4. Again, you're cutting off about 1 inch down here. Now these two are going to stay together on the front of the card. So you'll put them together, just kind of set them off to the side. Then this one is, cut it this way. So on this one, when I put it on the card, I'm going to do this. So I want to have the next cut, the little cut over on this side. So I'm going to line up this side with 1 1/2. And then I will cut that piece. So when it goes this way, when I line it up on the front of the card, it will line up like this. I hope that you can see that. Let me move it up. So it'll line up with the pieces like this, because this one happens to be one of those that's going to need to go in a landscape pattern. So I'm going to put these 2 pieces plus these other pieces back in my envelope with the one that doesn't have a cardstock layer. So this is my patchwork that I'm going to put on top. This one goes inside the envelope, and inside the card, and then this one's for the envelope. Now I'm going to set that off to the side, and then I'll bring up my template here. This one is for the one with a layer, and that's kind of the measurements that we're going to be using to cut. So let me go over those. Since there is a layer, we're going to make these pieces a little bit smaller so that they can line up. So again, it's a 6x6. We're going to line up the left side with 3 1/2 Oh, I got to get it going the right direction because this is directional. So there's 3.5, and I'm going to cut off this part for the flap. I will turn it to a landscape, and now I'm going to line this up at 4 3/4 on the left side. Cut off this piece, which will go inside the envelope, inside the card for the decoration. Then this one, I'm going to line up the left side at 2.5. Basically, it's that inch again, now that we're back to our patchwork piece. So 2.5, we're going to cut that one. I'm just going to move it down here. Then I'm going to turn this, and we're going to measure at 3 3/4, which is basically, again, that inch off of the side. So these two pieces go together. And then this, I need to make sure I line these up. I think this, yes. So this, I'm trying to line up the card where I cut it. And so the short piece will need to come off over here. So that's the way I'm going to put it in, and it's going to be 1.5 inches again. And then those two go together. So we put that here, and this one goes inside, and this one is for the envelope. I'm just going to set those off to the side because I have some that I've already cut and colored with the otters. So let me grab those pieces. And again, I'm using that Sweet Talk Designer Series paper. It was just so fun. I really just couldn't pass it up. So I wanted to make these where they will go a little faster, so that's why I went ahead and cut these and got them ready. So I also grabbed some pieces of cardstock that coordinate with that and cut out some of the hearts to be able to put in his hands. So the best way to do the back of the envelope, and I've watched several people, if you use the runner, it tends to not get close enough to the edge, and then you end up with some flat pieces that get stuck in the mailing machines or whatever. So it's a very fine bead of glue that I add around the outside edge. This is opposite the glue side, the gummed side that you lick the envelope, and then I'm just gonna put that there. And then I line up the edge with the scored line or the fold line or whatever you want, and just get it centered kind of top and bottom along that line, and then just press it down. And you can do this on any envelope at any time for any of your cards, and it just really kind of dresses it up. Then you take your snips from the back side, and you'll just cut along that flap where you can see it. And people feel like you have really gone out of your way, and it's something that doesn't take a lot of time or anything, and it's just a cute way of dressing up that back of that envelope like this and coordinating it with the card. So now let me move these pieces off. So on here, I'm just going to grab the patchwork pieces. Yeah. Oh, it's stuck. I'm going to start with the big one first. These are going to be quite large spacing when you don't have the cardstock layer. So you can just know that from the beginning. This. Okay, so this one does line up kind of there. So that's the way I need it to go. Oh, all right. And if you want to lay them down kind of some of these ways just to give yourself a little bit of spatial dimension, or you can measure it out however you want to do it. So there is that one. I'm going to do this one really quickly so I can kind of see where that one goes. Oh, yeah, I got it. You can see that hug me. There we go. And I chose this one on this one because there's not too much directional on it. And then this one. And so this one I could see you using any kind of birthday paper or colorful paper or anything, any kind of stamps, flowers, whatever you want. You could even make your own kind of designer series paper with the stamps that you have, and then just cut it apart and create this patchwork again. So this one is where you could put it down across the bottom of this white. Well, I'm using white. It could be any color, white or vanilla. And I'm just kind of creating a little border at the bottom with that. And then I'll stick this one on the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to use some dimensionals to pop up this label. Like I said, it could go this way or it could go this way, whichever way you want. I think this one I'm going to turn it this way. And then on the Happy Valentine's Day stamp on this stamp set, it does go all the way across, but I inked up just the happy part and put it over here, clean it real good, and then do the day separately over here. And then I could add my little hearts to his hands or her hands, whatever it is. I'm just gonna add some glue. I think I'm kind of gummed up there a little bit. Whoa, got a little too much glue. I'll share with the friend. I'm sure other people do that too. Have come out too much at once. All right. That turned over without getting it all over my finger, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to put this one over here. Oh, trying. I am not capable when it comes to liquid glue. I will repeat. So I do share a monthly blog and a monthly stamp class locally that I share what I love with some people. I do. Oh, I created these knots, and now I'm just going to add them with a glue dot. Add it, and then I will trim it down. I just had some pool party ribbon that I'm just going to use and just create a little kind of knot to put on there. And then I have that cute one there. And this one is the one with the layer. This one I colored in a cinnamon and crumb. Okay. So these, just let me kind of see about getting these lined up here. This is where I was talking about finding that spatiality. If you want, you can lay it out first and get kind of an idea. And then I'm going to, and then make sure you're able to line up your pattern if you'd like. I don't think anybody would notice, but most of us do, so we try to create the illusion that it's perfect. But there's really no right or wrong way to do things. In the local class, while we were doing these, people were quite making them their own, turning, doing different things and whatnot with them. So paper crafting is a very subject thing. Some people like simple stamping. Some people like adding the die cuts and other things to really jazz it up. I am partial to layers and such, as well as some of the die cuts, and I tend to forget sometimes about the embellishments. I have them and I love them and I want to use them. I just tend to forget sometimes because I'm in such a rush of doing things. And then you'll take this piece and layer it onto the front of the card. And I tried to pick colors that would coordinate. That's one wonderful thing that I do love about Stampin' Up! Products is generally, let me put this in here first, on here first. Generally, when they come out with a designer series paper, they will actually list on here the colors that coordinate with those designs to tell you what colors were in there. And then the other great thing is all of their inks, all of the ribbons, all of the cardstocks and everything coordinate, and they are the same colors throughout. I don't have to guess if this gorgeous grape matches the other gorgeous grape kind of thing. It's already done. So put that in here, and then I'm going to put this one on the inside. Oh, there's where I talked about in the last video. Sometimes this Stampin' Seal Plus will grab the paper. I have to be very careful because it'll just roll right on up in there. But I do like the Stampin' Seal Plus better because I don't tend to have as hard a time with it as I do with the Stampin' Seal. I do have to sometimes roll it up to get even with the Stampin' Seal, to get the runner to going again. So this time I'm gonna try go this way. There we go. And then I'll just put a little bit there in the middle. And get that lined up with a border around. One thing about the Stampin' Seal Plus is it is a permanent. Sometimes when it gets stuck, you're not going to get it off. There is a trick, and I haven't tried it with the Seal Plus, but I've tried it with some of the other adhesive runners, is if you get something stuck and you really need to reposition it, you can use the heat tool going over the front and back of it and heat it up a little bit, and sometimes it will come up and be okay. I have a little corner here that did not get some glue, I'm assuming. And it's bothering me, so I'm gonna put a little glue there to hold that. And again, here's our little guy. Pop him up. I really love a lot of the products that are out in this mini catalog for 2022, the January to June, especially the tulips, which I do plan a class on doing that because my father's favorite flower was red tulips, and so I just had to have the flowering tulips bundle. It was immediately on my list as soon as I saw it, even though I do still have the other tulip that we came out a couple of years ago. I just really am attracted to those because of my dad. And these ones in this catalog are actually kind of a die that makes a 3D kind of a fold image. So it's really, really great. Now I do have some of these polished dots from the catalog, and I thought that I would use some of these on here to kind of go with the card, just to give it a little bit of character. And so I'm gonna put a couple of those there. Oh, there. And then again, this one I will put on the envelope, but you've already seen me do that, so I will do that later. But these are the two cards, and I'm gonna put a little bit of bling here to move some of this stuff off. Here. There. Probably would have been better with the spatula end, but I already had the piercing tool out. So, and you could do that with these polished dots, or you could do it with the new iridescent rhinestones. Those are really pretty too, but I use those on another card. So I just wanted to share this with you. I hope that it's something that will help you in using up your paper stash. I know that I have quite a bit that I need to use up too. And there's my glue dots. I need to add my little bow or a knot. I didn't tie bows this time. I just tied some knots. I'm not sure where I want that. Maybe I want it down here this time. And then I will trim up the edges a bit. There we go. All right, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com. And I hope that you enjoyed these projects and will be able to use them very quickly. Thank you.